All right, just want to warn everybody that we are being audio and videotaped. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Napolitani?
Here.
Council members Achara?
Here.
Kaplan? Here. Terry?
Here.
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied, and a copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press, and the coaster posted in Town Hall and filed in the office of the municipal clerk on December 14, 2023. Items for discussion. Let's start off with our township engineer, Rick Lash.
Good evening. I will again, since it's a quiet month, I'm just going to go over the items that we have some changes to. The first one is 1,001 Wicapaco. That's proceeding pretty nicely with all the mechanicals and electrical going over there. The one thing that is going to be new, we're looking at revising the mansard roof. I talked to Ricky. It appears we have enough money left in the projected budget to replace the mansard roof because the cedar stakes are in pretty poor shape. And since we're under our budget right now, that'll all be worked out in the next 2 weeks, so we should be in good shape there. Golf simulator, we received the second round of bids. There was an R-equal submission. I'm going through the R-equal. I sent that gentleman a 4-page letter today highlighting all the things that aren't equal, and I haven't heard back from him since this morning, so I don't know how that goes, but I'll reach out to him tomorrow. But I suspect we will be going with the tracking system that we spec'd, and that'll be awarded at the next meeting.
What, as an example, Greg, what would be one of the are not equals?
Well, first one off the top of my head, the R-equal had, I think it was 30 courses you could play. The one we spec has 400. So it's just, that's huge in itself when you're looking at trying to bring customers in and they
Right.
come all the time through the winter. They got to play one of the same courses.
Right.
Whereas 400, you could come for years and not play them all.
Right.
And then the biggest problem I have is the geometry over there in the 3 bays. We have a beam that drops down. The ceiling has to be 10 foot for these golf bays. We have a beam that drops down into 3 rear bays that's only 9 foot high. But the system we spec has the camera system on the floor, so that doesn't impact it. The R-equal has the camera system on the roof, on the ceiling. So that's going to impact the visual to the screen.
Okay, got it.
So those are 2 of the more
The
important
example.
ones.
Good. Thank
But
you.
there's a whole slew of them.
What vendor?
Oh.
Or is it more than one?
No, there's 2 vendors. One is the one we spec'd, and the other, I forget the other guy, I think it's called Z-Track or something like that.
Z-Tech.
Z-Tech, yeah.
Thanks.
Something like that. But we should have that resolved by the next council meeting.
Thank you.
The last thing I have is the DPW facility. I mentioned last time we met with DEP. It kind of confirmed what we were hoping we would find. And I'm going to sit down now. Steve Higgins was on vacation last week, so I'm going to sit down with him, do the preliminary layout for that, and we have a meeting scheduled with the Board of Ed to go over their use on that facility. I think the 26th of February. So.
Is that Cindy?
Cindy Lane, yes. That's all I had. It's a short month.
May I?
Yes, absolutely. Wouldn't have it any other way.
And then I'm going, no.
And then I'll let Kelly go, and then
Did they
we'll
already
move on,
prepare
because
you
Keith
for
and I
this?
have nothing tonight.
Did they already prepare you for this?
I'm just observing.
Oh, do a little observing.
Won't take
it with
her
a grain
long
of
to
salt.
figure it out.
We'll talk after. I brought this up to David, and I don't know if I actually brought it in this meeting. Have you been in conversations with Toll Brothers to get their maintenance and
Yes.
guarantee? So how is that moving?
Slowly.
Due
problem-
to, yes, go ahead.
The problem Toll Brothers has is the driveways. The aprons of the driveway, the concrete curb is cracked, and it needs to be replaced. And the problem also is that the aprons are a little too steep. They meet code, but they're too steep. All the residents would like them lowered. So in the fact that they got to change the depressed curb, we're saying you have to change the apron anyway, so you may as well change a couple extra squares of sidewalk and lower the aprons for these people.
However,
That's kind of where we're stuck. They don't even want to price the broken curb, but that's where we're stuck, on the broken curbs of the driveway.
what about the retention, or, I don't know if the retention,
Basins?
yeah, the basins,
They're
let's do
working
basins.
fine. They're
Yeah?
working fine, yeah.
And everything, because the person that's complaining to me is complaining about the basins, that they're not to spec, they're not, the trees around them, the fencing around them, all of that wasn't to the spec that,
No, I think they were, well, the basin's designs changed.
Correct.
So those were not
Right.
the spec, because the infiltration did not work.
right.
So now they're detention instead of infiltration.
That's why I forgot whether it was retention or detention.
But the
Okay.
rest of it, I think it's just a matter, and it's on the punch, there's trees that have died, over the years and they replace them, and other ones died, it's still on the list. There's a pretty substantial punch list, but I consider those things minor till we get.
Compared to that,
Yeah.
correct. So okay with me asking him for what he thinks is the concerns, because he's not part of the committee or the
Yeah.
board?
Well, to be honest with you, I prefer he goes to his board,
Yeah, that's
because
what
we
I
have a
told him.
huge list from them that we've actually accommodated them. And a
Okay.
lot of their items were, something that were on our list anyway.
Okay.
But we've sat down with them twice now and gone through their list pretty extensively.
Okay. Hold on one second. Yes.
This is the comedic part we're talking about.
Wouldn't it be easier?
I type faster than write, and this way I don't have to
If
keep.
You wrote it down.
No, actually it wouldn't, because then I'd have to remember where the notes are. This is-
So you'll see me struggling with
go.
that approach in about 2
Yeah.
minutes.
Jesse, he has color codes and everything.
Oh, yeah, it's like,
Oh, wow.
it's some operation
Don't
over here,
mess
I
with
gotta
it.
tell
I
you.
know, I'm impressed.
Any updates?
He would
since
have been a
it's
good teacher, I can tell you.
Very organized.
I try to be, because you know what, I don't have a good memory. So if it ain't there, I'm gonna forget it.
So that's-
Since we haven't had this conversation in a while, since you said it was a slow month, is
So we're
there
gonna stretch it out?
a little bit? Mylan Terry, the park, and we're not
Kepwell?
Kepwell,
Yeah.
Kepwell Park at Mylan Terry, whatever, playground at Mylan, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We have definitely determined no sidewalks, no crosswalks, no lights, right, based on where it's at? Is that
You mean on Cold Indian Spring?
correct?
I don't know what the final is there. I mean, we've looked at it.
Right.
And what I recommended was that, because some people were talking about a mid-block crossing, sidewalk crossing.
Okay.
And I recommended we do it at the intersection, because it's a lot safer at the top of Cold Indian.
Oh.
And it brings you right into the top end of the park anyway.
Okay,
Because people coming around that curve.
right, very dangerous.
But what I believe to be the final result was, we were gonna do, in the road program, changing the intersection of Cold Indian Springs Road and Bound, so that you don't have that, raceway down. It's gonna become a 90.
Like square it off?
Yes.
Oh.
So that ramp down will be gone. You're gonna have to come and make a right turn
Oh.
on it. So that'll stop everybody
Oh.
from speeding. The crosswalk will then be a lot safer. But that was our suggestion, and nobody really came back and disagreed with that. Because we got a problem putting sidewalks there, because the slopes
Agreed,
on
yeah.
both sides. So we're gonna get it up to the top, come
Oh,
across and
beautiful.
go back down.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's in 24, 25?
24, yeah.
24, oh, cool.
Well, it'll be the 24 program, will be done the end of the year and into next year.
Right. Oh, very good, all right, thank you. I put that in the wrong place, hold on one second. Why are you laughing, Jess?
Just to keep it light.
Yeah, I know. No,
Oh, thanks.
I'm gonna ask, since I didn't ask you, any movement on the signs on West Park Avenue?
West Park Avenue.
He
The
was-
BJ Jug Handle sign,
That's Stephen Higgins.
only been
No.
14 months.
No.
They
Government
fell
moves slow,
down.
Gita.
Oh, this is the 35
Yeah.
signs missing. Yeah,
It's not a
And the no,
township thing,
and the
it's
no left
Steve
turn
Higgins.
sign.
Different department.
Yeah. Public works.
I thought I knew it was, but I thought you might have had a little influence. Anything on the light at Deal, Poplar, and Roller?
Dio Pop, yeah, he's not changing. I've talked to him 4 times now to get him to move that, put the left turn signal in now. And you could see he's having problems getting his site contractor to move very fast.
I just saw that they were putting the curb cuts in for the,
Yeah, and they messed the road up again, so we're chasing, they got mud all over the road again.
I didn't see
Yeah,
that much,
It's
but.
crazy. It's just, this guy's unbelievable. He does pretty poor operation. But yeah, he's having struggling over there to get him done, so I don't think he's entertaining changing the light right now.
Got it. Hold on.
Can I ask a quick?
Yeah, sure, go for
But
it.
it-
I yield my time to Jesse.
It's with that light at Deal and Poplar and Roller,
Mhm.
can it be timed with the one at 35 and Deal? So that I can get across, 'cause they seem to.
Absolutely not.
I
No,
was
the
gonna
reason
ask-
being
I was
it's
gonna
too
ask
far.
Rob to ask for me.
Yeah, the reason being it's too far away.
Slip me up.
The distance between them is too far to time them,
Okay.
because there's so many things that happen in between.
Yeah.
And both the light at the Poplar Roller Deal is actually censored, because if nobody's coming one way, the sensor the other way will change the light, which would really screw up a timing thing between that and 35.
While we're on lights, this came up this morning, and I think we already discussed it. There's no way to put a light in front of the post office, right?
On
On West
Fairview?
Park?
Instead
Well,
of that
At
blinking
post
one?
office.
no,
I was at the other
a
post
street
office.
light, like a
I was
light
at-
light.
I was at the one on Fairview, so what do you need a light there for?
Wrong post office, West Park, sorry.
West Park, Yeah,
Too close to the light off.
Yeah, that's what I told him this
Yeah.
morning.
And
But-
actually, that would probably all be within the DOT's jurisdiction because it's so close.
Okay,
You know, because they take that
Right.
triangle around the intersection.
which is kind of what I told him. All right, that was good. Got that. Hold on.
County road too.
Yeah,
1515
that's another thing.
1515 DEP permit,
It's been submitted, we're waiting for the hear back from them.
so still nothing. So we can't go out to bid until we get
Yeah,
that.
but we need to get the flood hazard permit from them, and then we'll be done.
Okay.
And when that does go out to bid, will that be subdivided first, or?
No,
Yeah.
we're gonna sell it as a package, they can subdivide.
They
It
would
has-
have to come in
it
for the
has preliminary
subdivisions.
It has preliminary approval to subdivide it.
Uh-huh.
To perfect it, you have to get final.
Okay.
And that's what they will have to do. The only thing to do with final, they have to file the file map. And then they can, the reason we did it this way, it gives somebody the option, instead of filing the file map for all 6 lots and paying taxes instantly on all 6 of them. they
Do
can
it as
either
they build.
They can do 2 at a time, or 1 at a time, or all at once. They
And
can-
one's reserved, right, for retention?
No, that's the 7th lot,
That's, okay,
yeah.
okay,
But there'll be 6 buildable lots there.
okay.
Dredging, kept well. Any updates on the dog park?
Well, with respect to the county, they came back and told us they cannot use the one where we recommended because of the environmental concerns. And we kind of, I think at that point, just pulled it away because don't seem to be too responsive to put it in Wells Park, other than
Oh.
jamming it up next to our tennis court building.
Oh, okay, not to put you on the spot. I happened to ask Ross a month or so ago. He said he was putting the plans together to move it on the West Park side.
They talked about that, but the problem was they found out that there's,
Turtle?
there is an issue with something else out there.
Wildlife.
Yeah, wild.
Well,
Oh.
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah,
environmental issue.
Ross didn't tell you that?
We're back to
Or
where
did you
we
forget?
are now.
That's right, you forget things.
So there's no
that's
site
why
available
I wrote
then?
it down.
We're back to the drawing board.
Other
in
than
my
the
opinion.
original, which no one likes.
So the suggestion I would make to us is.
County will let us build it there, but right next to the tennis courts, and
Which is
I don't know if that's
not
what the
conducive
wishes
to either
are.
population,
Yeah.
right?
It would not be good there.
Unless the ball went over the fence.
It doesn't have access.
And the dogs,
Right.
If you're gonna build a dog park on the backside of the tennis courts, how are you gonna get to them?
Well,
You
the
have to go
plan
through-
was, not to the, so it would be the north side of the tennis courts between the tennis court and the tennis center.
It was literally right
It's
up
it's actually on
against
the
Right.
west side.
courts.
It was on the west side of the courts.
The west side of the
Yeah,
courts.
west
west
side of
side.
the courts.
Yeah, west
Correct,
side, yeah.
but the entrance being to the north side of the courts.
Right, but that, for dogs to get to that park, you'd have to walk between the tennis courts and the building,
Yes.
which is kind of where they do their, they got like a little outside dining thing there and,
The
outside
picnic tables and
sitting
stuff,
area,
yeah. And then they have that overhead where they have events and stuff,
Yeah.
right?
So it's kind of, it didn't work on. We didn't want to have people have to walk all the way around the tennis courts to get there, because nobody would do that.
And we can't expand on that existing dirt lot to get to that same location?
The dirt lot over by.
On
right-
West Park.
We
That's
talked
what-
about that, that's what
that's-
we wanted.
Yeah,
But
And that's
they-
where the
that's where they said they have an environmental problem.
environmental or like wildlife?
Wildlife,
Well,
yeah.
But that made the most sense, because there's already
So
a
yes, the
parking
turtle
lot there.
probably has a nest there.
Yeah, but it made sense, because there's a parking lot there
Right, it's
now.
already there.
It's in the middle of the park.
People are used to going there to walk anyway.
Yeah.
So my suggestion is that we, together collectively, try to pinpoint or identify some
An
places
alternate
within
location.
town on our public,
And
potentially.
Palaya didn't
public-
lend itself when you guys looked at this
We
initially?
have, we didn't really pinpoint play, we kind of stayed away from play, but
Well, we tried behind Falco's.
Stevens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steven didn't have I don't know, he didn't share anything with me, but it was a neighbor next to them that was concerned. Everybody, respectfully, and I get it, not in my backyard. I get it, and we thought that was a good place because it wasn't in anybody's backyard, but, so what are we on, option like
The deer.
42?
The deer.
We went through a lot of them.
Wouldn't doubt it by this
I know
point.
the only place I think we have a piece of property that isn't residential, it's in the industrial zone, is on Rose Avenue, Valley Road, where that's where we just went through a subdivision to straighten a line out there, we did a lot line adjustment. The land has a tremendous amount of slope to it.
To where the tower is, by the tower?
No, it's further down the road.
Okay.
But that's a vacant piece of property, I don't think anybody would have a problem with a dog park there. But then again, I
What about
think
the
if we put it there,
cannabis
nobody use it, because it's in the middle of
They
nowhere.
like dogs.
There's all the residential areas to get to there, you have to go up to 35. If you're coming from the north, you have to go 35 to get there. The other way, you have to go out around Costco to get there. and anybody from the east side of town isn't gonna go to the west side of town to go to the dog park.
Or at least back there.
Right,
It's gotta be more accessible.
yeah, it's just too hard to get to. And the other properties that we have in town, I think would be a negative because they're 100% treed. And I don't think it really would make sense to cut down, 2 acres of trees to have a dog park.
I agree.
So, especially when it's abutting a residential zone, that we're just gonna, that would be a pretty big fight.
What was the last one on this one? What was the reason, I thought we tried, Poplar Village, the property that at the Green Acres there? We said no to it, but I don't remember why.
I think it was just access and there's no parking lot.
Okay.
We have to build a parking lot and it's in Green Acres, but they wouldn't let us build a parking lot.
Okay.
We do have a road in there, so we could probably stack enough parking in there to do that. But there again, you got, that abuts residential houses on the east, and then you have the Poplar Village buildings. But
All right.
That would probably be, a spot, but that would be very muddy because it's in a floodplain.
Maybe that was it.
Yeah,
That might have been
would be
it.
kind of a little wet.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir, as always.
You're done?
I can find more if you want. I didn't get through all my colors.
Just a couple clarification questions for me. The resolution, one of the resolutions that we're voting on today for Findern Street, that is my neighbor. Am I supposed to recuse myself because I'm a neighbor?
What are we doing on Findern?
There's a resolution
He's
for,
building a house.
he's building a house next to me.
What's
This
the
one,
resolution for?
that's my,
1630.
I think it's a bonding
bond?
issue,
No, accepting the.
so that's okay?
Yeah.
That's, I don't have a conflict, okay,
Yeah.
so that was one.
If we get approval to build something, you'd probably have a conflict, but just to accept this.
Yeah, I don't think permitting has come through.
Yeah.
No.
Because I haven't seen anything. Same question with the grant coming in for Kenny Pickett Field. Since it's my nephew, should I not vote on the use of that grant?
Damn, sister, you got a lot of.
Those are pretty.
I know a lot of people.
I mean,
The grant's
yeah,
coming
that's
in,
what
but
we
I
do.
didn't know if it was
The grant.
designated for that or we were asking for that to be used at that, so I didn't
We're
know.
asking, what number is it?
It is 24041, Resolution 10.
Oh, no, that's fine, because we're submitting, we're submitting it. You're just authorizing the
Yeah,
submission.
yeah.
Okay, so that's okay for me to vote on
Mhm.
that? Okay. We already talked about that one issue, so I won't bring that up again. The impervious coverage ordinance, is that identical to what you briefed to us last time?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I think there was a chart on the back that was taken off
Yeah.
because the
Okay.
chart wasn't correct, but everything else is the same.
All right, open issues. There was a question on 16 acres of wetlands acquisition, and will that affect our COA obligation? Was that ever answered? Ordinance 2450?
Oh, you mean the property that we're getting on West Park?
Yeah.
No, because it's not usable, so
Not
it's not,
usable.
where we have our vacant land adjustment, that is not buildable, so it wouldn't be,
Okay,
it couldn't be included in our calculation.
all right.
I was gonna say, we can't use it for that anyway, we already have someone, we're gonna use that.
I was gonna say, you know what, but Fair Share might demand it be used,
No,
I don't know.
they won't.
They keep on trying to say, why can't you?
We already
why are you
talked
doing
about
this
that.
County
We
park
talked
for
about
free?"
that.
So like, the county owns it,
Yeah.
it's a park, you have any proof? don't know.
I think you and I talked about this, the dredging, we were talking about dredging.
Oh, I
And the
didn't
notice,
know.
the fair notice. If somebody just ignores the fair notice, does that kill the dredging project?
The dredging in,
The ponds,
what pond?
Middleborough?
Ayers Pond, Fireman's Pond, and Snell's Pond?
I don't know about this
Poplar
one
Brook.
particular, but I believe there
Well,
was notice given and certain residents are non-responsive.
No, it wasn't noticed. What happens is on Snell's Pond, there's, I believe it's 16 lots that own Snell's Pond. The township now owns 2 of them because they were the Blue Acres lots that we took the houses off of. So what happens is, we had to be able to get permission to dredge that. We needed the other 14 property owners' permission.
Okay,
We only got 8 of them. So it's not, it wasn't a notice. We actually sent them a letter saying, can you sign the DEP form to give us permission to do this? And we haven't heard back from those since.
is there a
We need-
recourse after that?
No,
No.
without
So that
their
means it can't
signature,
happen?
We can't go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So without those signatures, we're dead in the water.
I was just curious if like you notify and you do the public hearing, is that a way to get around that and saying non-response
No, because it's
No,
their
because it's their.
without a declination? Like they should hard copy decline.
No, even if they, no, because it's their property, so a lack of
They just choose
response
to ignore
doesn't.
it.
And we don't
Equal.
own the piece to access to do the dredging.
No, we
We
do.
do.
We can get up to, I guess, wherever it is, up to the middle of the pond on our 2 lots, but then we can't go on the other parts of the.
So the embankment is still part of their property, I guess.
Up, probably, if Greg's telling me, up until like the middle of the pond.
Yeah, essentially the pond, the properties go up to the middle of the pond. Pond is like an east-west pond, and all the lots are, stacked along there. We can get into the pond, we have access to it, but we can't, we couldn't go, like checkerboard through there.
What if it's
dredging.
contaminated? Isn't that the
we already
liability of
tested
theirs
it.
to fixing?
We already tested it.
Possibly, but that's a whole state DEP thing, which.
Not
probably
worth
has
the
its-
squeeze right now?
Well, it has its own rules and regulations that.
Okay.
Yeah, but the soils aren't, the sediment's not contaminated, we already tested it before we
Oh, okay.
said we were gonna possibly dredge it. But yeah, the bottom line is we can't go anywhere till we get those other 6 people. We sent a second notice to them asking them to please sign it. We haven't pushed any further than that since we met with the county and found out the county wasn't gonna dredge that because it's private property, and they will not work on private property.
So we would have to pay for that if we opt to do it.
Yeah, we'd have to hire a private contractor to.
Big money,
So
right?
that kinda took the wind out of our sails right there.
So, and if I may go back, who, did they ask us to, were there residents on Snell's that asked us to do it, or we just thought it was a good idea to do it?
No, there's been a couple of residents, but there's one guy who's pretty adamant about it.
Got it, okay.
But the
So
other
he's gotta go
resi-
sell the other 8 or 10 that aren't signed?
Yeah, that's the first step, yeah.
Okay.
Second step is we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna pay for it.
Right. I know you had an idea.
Yeah.
We'll
Now we
cross
just
that
gotta
path.
follow through on that.
Working on
Scratch offs.
Scratch off.
This isn't Hazlitt. Sorry.
That's key.
But oddly
Oh,
enough,
it's keyboard, sorry.
yeah, we seem to have solved our disposal
In
problem.
2 towns now, huh?
I was scrapping.
Ken,
Sorry, wrong one.
he forgot.
I did.
He forgot where he's from.
And I guess my last question, I think, for you, everything else I have is the discussion that we had on the Asbury Avenue and tree removals and all that kind of stuff. Is there any,
Temporary tree removal.
Yeah, which one?
the church,
Oh,
Oh, the first.
that's a
one?
planning board,
Yeah.
planning board?
Planning
Okay,
board,
so it's not for
yeah.
you. Never mind. All right.
I'd say don't let him take any tree, no.
Yeah, 'cause you can talk
I have no
to,
input to that, yeah.
Probably Jim Higgins would be
Yeah.
on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Do you
right.
wanna bring up your email?
Which one? I sent like
I'm
400.
gonna say which one.
The one where you had the 2 or 3 questions from,
I think I got the answers.
Yeah, we resolved all that.
we're gonna do it?
Why don't, wait, which one you talking about now?
So, one was the permit fee, $350 to $750 or something like that.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know if that was a question for Greg. That's why I didn't bring it up.
Fair point.
Permit for,
Tree removal fees, the disparity between commercial and
yeah,
residential's.
that's not me,
Right, I didn't think.
That's an ordinance amendment.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's
And
kind
that's-
of a.
Sorry.
Yeah,
You're
and the
right. These are
tree,
Greg's
the
questions.
tree ordinance, we agreed, needs to be revamped and worked on. And I believe Billy Trees is working on that with the Shade Tree Commission. I understand you've been to Shade Tree and Environmental Commission. I attended. Interesting meeting, to say the least. So I believe that there's a little disagreement on the tree ordinance right now, but it definitely needs to be revamped.
I mean, my personal thing, just from sitting on the recent one, is I would like to see a change to the fee schedule. No other changes to the tree ordinance until we see what's coming out of the state.
Okay.
Because we're already more strict than the state rumored is going
Yep.
to be.
Yep.
That was my takeaway.
We totally are
Concur
in
with
agreement.
council.
And I believe that's what Bill also said. They were waiting for the
Yeah,
tree
we-
ordinance to be adopted
And
through the
it's
state.
kind of been kicked to the right a lot.
Yeah, it keeps
Yeah,
getting
ours
kicked.
is
The
stronger,
state-
so.
Right, ours is tighter.
100% agree with what you just said.
But I would like to see the fee change, whatever that is.
Yeah,
That's
that-
that's a Kel, that's a
just
definite.
Whatever you feel like
Trying to
doing.
lower it?
Right.
No, raise it.
or
No, I
raise
would
it?
like to see the commercial pay
Oh, the
pay
commercial.
more, because right now it seems like the burden is on the residents, and I would
Okay.
like to see that switched. or at least even.
As long as you can get the other 4 to say
Sold.
Okay.
It just-
But I
That's all you
don't,
have
so
to
like Bill and I had like a little bit of debate today on the phone, and I don't understand the difference between the diameters of certain trees and the implications on cutting them down and replacing them versus the fees associated with that approach. So I would have to defer to him, but the $350 to $750 off the top of
That's
my
it.
head makes no sense.
Right,
Yeah, just to clarify something.
Especially because they can pass the cost on to their client,
correct.
and residents cannot.
Just to clarify, with the state is not gonna pass a tree ordinance. The state has mandated that every town in the state
Canopy.
adopts their own tree ordinance.
Mhm.
They've put out a generic one. Their generic one doesn't have any penalties or fees associated. They want you to figure that out. So you could actually, and it's their first step. The state is just, they're piggybacking down the road. They're eventually gonna require more and more things out of this. But what they're doing right now is they're letting the town figure out the fees, but they want every town to have a tree ordinance that has to require replacement and or some kind of a look at, are there fees that have to be paid if you take trees down? That's the first step. We already comply with that because we have a tree ordinance in place, and that mandate you have to be adopted, I think it was by July 18th of this year. They also have a salt pile thing that has to be adopted, all part of the,
We
what
did
they
that.
called it. Yes, we did the salt pile thing.
Yeah, I remember talking about that one.
That's all part of the municipal stormwater thing. We call it the MS4 permit.
Mhm.
They're tying it all to that, but we already conform with everything that we have with regard to that. So it's really whatever the town does from this point forward, no matter what you do, will be more restrictive than what the state requires. So you're fine, whatever you really want to do. But the state is not coming out with an ordinance themselves.
Okay.
They just sent a generic one out that really doesn't address.
But it was
whole
like a
lot of
draft, though. They didn't even put out a final version, is my understanding.
Yeah, I think they kind of came out with it, then they were gonna rescind it, and come up with a different
Right,
idea.
yep.
And they kind of worked that through, but I think they're still in the middle of that. But I
Okay.
think the path we're going, I think, is a better path anyway with the tree coverage, as opposed to counting trees. Because tree for tree never works. You know, you could have a little whip tree that's, tall columnar tree that, and never, you can't consider that's the same as a 36-inch diameter oak tree.
Right.
So that's kind of what you have to look at, how you trade those off.
Mhm.
So, do we agree that we want to put an ordinance in, an ordinance change for the fee for the commercial?
I think you
I think you have to look at the whole thing.
The
The
tree ordinance is under review
problem,
right now.
yeah, the problem with the ordinance is there's 2 ordinances.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, you kind of want to do it all at once.
Yeah,
I
got
know
it.
Bill's the
That's fine.
tree experts working.
yeah, I don't want to keep going back and doing this
Yeah.
thing over and over
But
again.
I just didn't want to
I agree with you.
hold up a fee schedule change in lieu of all this other
So-
stuff that might take a really long time to figure out.
So why don't we do this? Let's try to figure out how, do we have any idea if they're gonna do anything with this in the state? Because you're right, they do drag their feet.
The tree ordinances?
Yeah.
They're just the only mandate they have is that the town has to have one adopted by July.
But I
10th.
thought there was some template that they were working on.
Ours is more stringent than that, so we're fine.
Yeah.
So if
Okay,
you were
so,
less restrictive, then they would
so
say,
Dave, can we talk to Bill about trying to corral this and come up with what we think
A
would be
more
good?
equitable fee schedule.
Yeah.
So just focusing on the fee schedule.
Well, I think there's a
That's
few
my stovepipe
well, there's
view.
a few other things in that need to be
Commercial
worked on.
Well,
Residential.
here's my
Both.
my recommendation. I would do the fee schedule separate.
Okay.
That's something simple.
All right.
When we try to move this whole ordinance, it's gonna be very difficult.
Like a permit
We have
fee,
A lot of different opinions from
not the
shade tree
implications of
to
what they find after
tree
the
expert,
permit goes in.
Everybody's saying something
Right,
different.
because those are fields associated with those,
So
right?
Right.
it's gonna take months before we get an actual ordinance.
We've been
passed.
talking
So-
about it for months.
Years?
But it's not, it hasn't been laser focused. It's small conversations.
Yeah, we got a laser in.
If we laser focus, it's gonna get serious and there'll be some long meetings and discussions and people gotta be ready.
Yeah.
But if you just wanna do a change in the fee ordinance, I think that's a light lift that Matt and I can take a look and tweak an amendment and have it for the next meeting.
I'm good with that.
Right. You like that turnaround, huh?
And what else did I owe you? Or what did I say I was gonna chase down?
You just have to, sounds like the
I
residential.
think that was the one that I thought we could do right today.
Okay.
There were 2 others and I
Okay.
slipped in my mind, but I don't think it was.
When I say residential ordinance, there's
Right.
an ordinance. And then there's the ordinance that-
Yeah, the other stuff was
planning
not for
side
Greg's,
of
though.
things. So there's a lot of it.
thank you very much.
Hold on, Gita might have something for you.
Oh.
Right, this meeting, I'm just listening.
Next meeting, she's all in.
I love her already.
Yeah.
I love her already.
All right, good night, everyone.
Good
That's
night.
great.
Thanks,
All
Greg.
right, thanks.
Um,
Thank you, thank you.
Dave, you got a flag request on here.
Yeah, that's the question too.
That comes from the clerk.
Is that new? Did I miss that?
Yeah, it's on the first page of the meeting tonight.
So I didn't see the new agenda.
We have a
First.
request from
That's me.
Dice Davis to fly the Greek flag for Greek Independence Day on March 25th to March 26th.
And they
Just
supply
Just
it.
one day?
They
They-
just
okay.
want that.
I mean,
Are they trying to do an event around it?
No, they just said about 30 people. Would you fill that out?
so that's an event.
That's an event.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry, Jess, it's okay. It's been a long day,
We're doing an
right?
event? No,
Okay.
it's 30 people.
She's worried about that.
She's
money.
used to the big ones.
31, then we got an event.
Yeah, right.
Anything less than,
Okay.
so we're approving it. I'm gonna have you sign it before we.
Well, so, just
Okay.
for the record,
We'll let them vote on it first.
well,
Oh, yeah, do you
just,
want-
well, just so we follow in the
Right.
ordinance, I believe the ordinance says that we have to have the discussion and then it needs to appear on the, we have to agree and then it needs to appear on the
No,
agenda.
we just, we do this, it's on.
It's on the agenda.
And we're discussing it, and all you have to do is approve it. We don't, if we did a resolution.
Or
we
pull
don't.
it if
Or
we
pull
were
it,
to
right.
say no, right?
Yeah, yeah, we wouldn't, I'd just let them know.
Yeah, so is there an official resolution for this or no?
No, we just
Okay.
agree.
Matt's standing out there. Matt?
Give me a second.
Okay.
So I'm in favor of it, but just
Okay.
process-wise, I
Okay.
thought.
Yeah, now I'm a little confused now, but.
Yeah, well,
It was
I
supposed
thought
to
we
be discussed
decided-
amongst the
Do
council
we need,
before
when
it came on the
when
agenda.
flag
So
policy
that,
comes
frankly,
before
we
us,
would embarrass
application,
somebody
we approve, the
by
council
discussing
approves
it.
Do we need a
didn't do it
resolution at the
when we
next
did
meeting?
The Italian flag.
I mean, I
just-
Well, we
think
had
it's
discussed it.
appropriate to have
Now
a
let's
resolution.
meet.
If you're gonna
Put it
do,
on the agenda.
That's what I thought we did a resolution for the last one.
but we can do a speaking resolution. I mean, essentially,
Everyone was in agreement for,
yeah, I mean, that's.
No, we're just trying to figure out process.
Right.
Oh, I,
Nothing
uh,
we
is
didn't
fine.
really have, we just, we bring
Is
it
it
up at a
appropriate
meeting.
for us to do it and approve it in the same day?
yeah, you
Right?
can make a you can, it's essentially your talking resolution right now. It's Jesse to, just to write, to essentially after memorialize. But if you say, do you want to move to do A, and somebody seconds and you vote on it, it's an official
Is
action.
that done in this meeting, the next meeting, doesn't matter, this is a public
Doesn't
meeting.
matter, I think.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
public
technically
meeting.
it's a meeting of the council, it's public.
Any
You can do it
motion?
here, you can do it down
I'll move to
stairs.
approve the
There we go.
request for the Greek flag to be flown on March 25th and 26th at Town Hall.
Thank you, someone second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
There we go, done.
Easy.
Could I
I-
ask an
check that?
administrative question? Dice Davis is the chief of staff for Bingo Paul.
Dice?
Dice.
Dice?
Dice, right?
The organization's name, District 11 Legislative Office.
Does it have relevance if this is crossing over into legislative voting? Have no relevance whatsoever if it's associated with Bingo Paul? It's no longer a private party then?
Well,
Nothing's private here.
I'm
Okay,
sorry,
so there's no relevance.
because
Thank you.
I missed the part about who's requesting it.
Dice.
The legislative district
Dice
11.
Davis from District 11 Legislative Office.
Oh, well, she's an individual. I mean, really, anybody who wants to make a
But
request.
I think she's requesting on behalf of District 11. They're having
The
a.
organization's
30
name,
You weren't
yeah.
here for the full thing.
That's why
There
I
was
was
30
calling.
people coming, but my answer to Jim though is anything on public property is public, period. So even if you invite 30 people, if other people from the street walk up to it, you can't stop them.
But I think
Thought
Jim's
the question
asking.
was,
Right.
is allowed
Do
to
they?
ask?
Yeah.
Is it limited?
Oh, it does, no, anybody can
Anybody,
ask.
anybody can ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
And
I-
any, hold on, sorry. Not that this one is a problem, but anybody, doesn't have to be a resident?
No,
All on your ordinance.
it's all, this
Whatever.
is,
I have to look, I don't
States.
remember if we,
Yeah.
no, I mean,
don't think
any,
you were that specific.
we weren't, but
No.
do they
you
need to
don't,
be?
you don't want to, listen, it's your speech, if you want to let
That's right.
anybody
I remember-
ask,
I
it
remember
would
that,
be,
you're right. We could deny it no matter what, thank
Yep.
you,
so.
got it.
You'd have more of an issue if you tried to say, no, you can't ask us things.
Got it.
I have another request.
Another flag?
No, no. This came in late this afternoon. Residents of 1900 North Wanamassa Drive are doing some work, and they would like to keep their storage pod on the property. I think that's,
That's the first time in 9 years we've had somebody ask to extend a
we've
freaking
had it
storage.
before, but it's been a while since
Wow.
they, you know.
Usually they just
And
do it.
they just do
Usually
it.
they-
That's fine.
Usually they just do it, exactly.
That's
I
exactly
say we
right.
let them do it. They asked.
We are requesting that the initial permit be extended so the vinyl pieces of renovations can be completed.
How long do they need the extension for?
To the end of March.
Done.
And that has to come to council?
Yes.
Wow.
That I knew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
That's what I'm saying, that's.
Yeah.
a-
It does.
It does.
It
That
does.
that is.
Yep.
I
No,
know.
if it's in the ordinance that way.
That's why I'm
it is.
surprised anybody.
Oh,
It's in the
okay.
Someone
ordinance.
must have called.
Good for them.
March 31st.
I make a
Yeah.
motion to approve the extension of the pod on the property at
Might wanna
1900
change that.
North Wanamassa.
North Wanamassa Drive
Second.
until March.
We could just
I'll
do that
second.
administrative.
All in favor?
Well,
Aye.
Opposed? Perfect, thank you.
Get your stuff done.
Look at Jesse. Now,
Any good?
is there going to be an event there when they do that?
They're gonna read the flag.
29.
We're gonna go dumpster diving.
That's all I have.
Round robin, go ahead, we'll start with Councilman and Chair.
The PPA and SOA contract.
They're pulled.
Thank you.
Oh,
Dave,
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I sent you an email back.
Dave,
I
can
didn't
you,
see it, sorry.
Dave,
Thank you.
in closed session, can we review everything with,
Next, for the
And-
PBSOA,
yeah, but in closed session tonight?
I would do a closed session next time, let everybody read it.
Okay.
The whole thing.
Do you wanna give him some
And then I
highlights?
also would have had
Okay.
Ricky stay, because he just left.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. What else do I have? That's it.
Okay. Councilwoman Capel? Nada, you're just listening.
I'm just listening.
There you go. Just learning already. Councilwoman Terry?
Let's see. Heads up, I think, Dave, but I put that in an email that the Human Services Committee was gonna call you.
Already did.
Okay, done.
I'm having discussions with our attorney here to see if I can discuss that in closed session.
Okay, perfect. Thanks to Bill from the tax department on answering my litany of questions
Oh.
on those lovely yellow cards.
You got him too.
Fire,
Oh,
Councilwoman.
I got
Yelling
like
him with
20 of
emails,
them.
too?
Yeah.
Look, Kelly's just a busy bee. She needs to
Huh.
retire to get all these
Councilwoman, you
emails
were on
out.
fire.
Yeah.
Fire.
I have my moments.
Hey, Kel, put him on the Mylan Terry
January's
He wants
January's
emails.
slow.
She
Oh,
had
it's
you beat,
February,
Robin.
sorry.
Hey, Dave, you want to see emails? Join the
Rob who?
Mylan Terry Foundation.
Knock
See,
it
I
off,
don't
and you
send
still
the
don't
emails.
answer.
People on Facebook are complaining about taxes and.
Some of us look, we just don't answer.
I just give them Bill's number.
There we go.
Forget the
That's
email.
what-
He was fantastic about talking about the timeline for inspections and freezing, and he was wonderful, so I'm
He's, I tell you
great.
what.
We
great.
should probably have
Another
another
great
session
hire.
for the public
Yeah.
on how that operates.
Great
and-
family,
We had a
great
great session.
hire.
I was just
Yeah, I think there
impressed.
was one session, right?
All the-
I think
all the
Susie
staff-
did it.
Oh.
All
Should
the
do
staff
another
was able
one.
to get back to you. I think you got at least 99% answer.
Of my 99
Yeah,
questions?
Yeah. I'm very
Pretty
impressed
good.
with
Why don't you
that.
throw another one
Susie's
in?
doing another.
Okay.
Are you saying I gotta step my game up?
You might.
Oh, no, you ain't, let me tell you something. I don't think
I'm
you
not
can
even
hold a
gonna
candle to
try.
her, man. Don't even try, Rob.
Not this one.
There was a question on the tree ordinance from the Environmental Commission about modifying that ordinance to ensure that our tree experts' certifications were commensurate with what the ordinance says.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a question from the Environmental Commission on that landfill project, or a landfill situation going on that other towns have participated in. Senator Gopal was there, Commissioner Arnone, Director
Oh, the
Arnone,
landfill.
and the smell permeating. And I figured
the
since
landfill.
we were abating or
Yeah.
encroaching or whatever, have we had complaints from Ocean Township residents? Because allegedly 2 showed up at that meeting.
And at least one of them called my office.
Okay, so you already know about
I
it.
only had one phone call. I was shocked about it because it was involving Ocean, but been in touch with all the right public officials to see what's
Okay.
going on. But it's in the county's hands, basically.
I guess the
And
concern,
I urged the residents to go to that meeting.
okay. I didn't know if we had to have an Ocean Township person representing just to ears or for the next time this happens.
Are you saying there's some sort of committee they said?
I don't know if there's a follow-up to
Oh,
this,
no,
but they were
no.
anticipating
I haven't heard
something.
anything other than that public meeting they had the other night in Tinton Falls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our calendar says recycling zones 1 through 7 is permitted. They felt that the 7, which I don't even know what 7 means, that might not have been a true statement. And I said, well, I have no idea what 1 through 7 are, but I will take that as a do out, so.
So we had 5 minutes.
Recycling, I got it was the types of products.
Oh, types of.
Types, I'm sorry, not
Oh,
zones,
no, now
types.
Now you're challenging me now.
So the 7th item, and I think it was,
Was it the plastic?
they didn't, everybody in the room except me knew exactly what they were talking about, so I felt really ignorant.
I used to know
That's why
about
they're
all
on the
this.
commission.
That's
You're
right,
not.
and I'm just a listener. So I just said I would take that back to make sure whatever we're putting out is proper.
It's on the website, right? It's on the website.
Look how you
Yes.
and Rob have color-coded stuff. That's pretty cool.
Are you jealous?
You'd
I
been a
could
good-
make you one.
You would have been a good
Yeah,
teacher.
type 7 is
She would have been too.
Type 7 is the plastics.
Okay, so it had to do with that and whatever's on our calendar,
Okay.
just to make sure that it's proper.
Yeah.
And that's it for me.
I have a question for Kelly, if I may.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Because of your email, and you just said it, what's a do-out?
That means they asked me to
Government
do
thing, I'm sure.
something.
Yeah.
They asked me in my official capacity as an Ocean Township Councilwoman to bring it to the council and ask these questions.
And do a do-out.
So if they asked me 1 through 7, is 7 proper? My opinion is I owe them an answer on whether 7 is properly annotated in the calendar. So all of my do-outs, I've been trying to get back to both commissioners.
So for a layperson, it's an action item.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not trying to bust your chops.
That's an
Seriously.
Army term, I guess,
That's what I
do-out.
think- that's what I'm getting. Okay.
Yeah,
So for the type 7, I would just confirm with Stephen Higgins to make sure.
okay.
And Tracy does the calendar. And then on your first question about the tree expert,
Yes,
the ordinance states you have to have a certification and or the designee.
And or.
and you
Right.
have that one,
He's the and or.
because you have the
So wait a
original,
minute, I'm not,
right?
fo- what's
No,
the,
no, no, I don't-
what's the
I-
issue with
They
this?
have to have.
There's only 4 that have that special certification in the entire state.
Yeah, but I'm
Right.
asking,
Yeah.
is there an issue with?
No.
It was just raised.
I went back and looked at the ordinance.
So we're compliant.
Yeah, the township can make an appointment to someone who either has the certification or just the designee of the community development director. Mr. Kirk, when he was here, he designated Mr. Bill Brooks to do that. Mr. Brooks does not have that 104.
But he's got-
But he's been,
Got
But he's
50
actually-
years of tree experience.
right,
He had like an arbor certification, but now he's actually taking the classes for this.
okay.
this
So we're
thing.
compliant. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
Yep,
we're in compliance with our ordinance.
yep. That's all, yep. That was the only question, was ordinance.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other, anything else, Dave?
No.
Okay, then, public, let's go. Start off with Jack.
Jack Carter's Big Croft, please.
Hey, Jack.
You can sit next to you.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to get up sooner or later.
Okay.
I just wanted to wish Gita well with her new job. I did watch the her acknowledgement of the position at the council meeting. I watched it on the TV, and I liked what she had to say.
Thank
Because
you.
she didn't say too much of me. She said more the township, what I could do for the people here and the town itself. And I think that's a positive way of thinking, how I think the township council people should operate. And I think they do. I think they do. So she's carrying on the mission. So that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Jack.
you very much.
Appreciate that.
Jack.
And Jesse, thank you today for the assistance earlier. And I put in an Oprah request on the. I have previously contacted the city council, and these are the approximate salaries that the employees are getting, this is both police and the general. Just wanted you to have a ballpark idea of what salaries exist, and they already have this, before you vote on the contracts, just so you'd have a conceptual idea of what's already in place.
Thank
So
you.
Jim, I'm glad you showed up because I actually got the figure on that property on Wickapeco. 1001, I know you had given us a sheet of paper, somewhere in the vicinity of 3.3 million. And just to correct you on the numbers, that property was purchased for $695,000.
700,000, okay.
Okay, we have not come even close to 3 million.
The disassembly from the 9,000 square feet.
We can get you all the figures up to this point, but you're not even close to 3 million.
May I ask which property? Sorry.
1001
The golf
Wicca Pecco, we're
simulator.
putting the golf
Okay,
simulator.
thank
We, first of all, we didn't pay $1.9 million for the property, we paid $695,000,
I thought it
so.
was eight, so. it was
$695, it
700.
was purchased with builder's remedy money, I totally remember that through Chris
Yep.
speaking about it when I first came on
So
council.
700, not 850.
It
Okay.
was $695, not
Okay.
7, and it was purchased with builder's remedy money from Nobility Crest.
Nobility Crest.
Nobility Crest had to pay the town for their development, and we utilized that money to purchase that. So really, in essence, what Chris said was it didn't cost the town any money.
It's one giant pot of money. That money could have been spent on 50 other items.
You know, at this point, we did purchase it, and this council, at this point, has the property. There's a decision that was made, and, you know, we're gonna stick to the decision that was made with it, because they're working on it right now, okay?
Yes.
And we will get a total dollar figure for you, to let you know exactly what that, you know, cost was. Okay, all right.
And may I, that's now part of the golf
Utility.
utility, I was gonna say
Yep.
authority.
But the
Utility.
original cost was, as he said, builder's remedy,
Correct. The original purchase came from that. He's right, yes.
which could have been spent for other things.
In theory, any dollar could be spent for anything else, but yes.
So you have 1.5 million that justifiably could be transferred into the golf utility. And so that when you have costing for your annual budget for the golf utility, it reflects the actual expense associated with that building,
I'll bite. Where are you getting the 1.5?
including the cost of removing
Oh.
the 900,000 square feet became 400,
Nine-
9,000 square
9,000 square
feet
feet.
became 4,000 square feet because of the load-bearing issues. It was cost prohibitive to keep the load-bearing
Correct.
up to a commercial
Right.
basis, so they removed 5,000 square feet.
I wouldn't use the $1.5 million as the
Yeah,
number,
that's a
Jim.
tough
This is
number.
where you're starting to confuse people. Even when you shot the $3.3 million number at me, I'd rather have accurate figures for the public, because they do listen, and I don't like to have false information
So the
out there.
goal would be if you could move some debt from the general purpose debt into the golf utility to more reflect the actual costs that could have been spent for other items had that building not been.
Okay. Fair assessment.
Move an additional $1.5 million from the debt into the golf utility.
$1.5 million debt, we don't, again, I'd have to check with Ricky on that
Yeah.
as to what you're talking about with the debt, but
And
the
make
town.
the debt 3 million instead of the debt being 1.5 million that's
What?
current.
I mean, again, it's the concept.
I don't get it at all.
Not the numbers. I get the concept.
But where's 3 million
Right,
coming
that's
from?
what I don't get.
The 700,000 plus the cost of the removing the 5,000 square feet.
But we didn't spend $2.5 million to fix the building.
You spent I was at the bid opening with you. What was that, 1.3?
I don't even
For
read
what?
Too
it.
many bid openings. You and I were at the bid opening on
Yeah.
that.
I don't even read
The
it.
For the
construction
remediation.
Oh, the, yeah.
Yeah, but it's
That I
not.
don't-
Well, it doesn't matter, he has the
Half
numbers.
that.
So you and I were at that meeting,
When we
but
did the roof replacement
Right.
and all the other ones.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
That's about right.
and that was added on, the roof and the
Yeah.
beam.
Right.
The 150,000 for the beam, the 110,000 for the roof. But it doesn't matter, because he has all those numbers. And Dave, could you post, just do a post-it note and get the debt statement added to the website? The debt
That's
statement.
not already?
Well, it's created in January, it's only a week old, so it'd be extremely fast if they did post it. Because it's normally created in
So you're saying an updated debt statement?
January 24th every year, it generally exists. So it'd be a brand-new debt statement. So there's no reason it would be on the website already.
You're allowed to Oprah that, and that's.
Well, no, it always goes on to the website.
Oh,
so
no, I
no
was
reason
just,
to.
whether or not it's on, you know, you can always.
What are you saying it goes up by the end of January?
Well, it doesn't exist until the last week in January. So
Okay.
it couldn't be put
The
on
debt
there because
statement.
just,
Yeah, okay.
it
We
wouldn't
always put
exist.
it up.
So probably the older one is up there right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
So
the other one was
It's a
put
best
on-
practice to have like the budget, all the financial
Yep.
statements and stuff up on
Got it.
the website.
And they have different calendar dates.
Okay.
And this one
The annual
is,
financial, the
Yeah.
financial statement, the debt statement is all
Yep.
up on
Right.
thank you.
Thanks,
the.
Jim.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Jim.
Any other
Thanks, Jim.
business?
Take care.
Motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
A second.
Roll
All
call.
in favor?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Just want to remind everybody that all council meetings will be audio and videotaped, and they will be shown on Channel 22 on Verizon Fios and Channel 77 on Cablevision. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Capitani?
Here.
Councilmember Achara?
Here.
Kaplan? Terry?
Here.
Everyone, please stand for a pledge of allegiance and remain standing as we do a silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. You may be seated. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied, and a copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, posted in Town Hall and filed in the office of the Municipal Clerk on December 14, 2023. There are two emergency exits on the wall to my right that'll take you to the front of the building, and another one to my left that'll take you to the rear. Please make sure that all your cell phones are turned off, and if you need to make a call, kindly step outside. I'm going to start with council comments. We're going to go all the way down to the end to our newest councilwoman, Kaplan.
No comments just yet, just listening and observing tonight.
Yes. Councilwoman Terry.
Just a friendly reminder about the 175th anniversary celebration on the 21st of February. Tickets are going to be $15 over at the Turner Center along with the museum. And I believe shortly the invitations will also be going out for the St. Patty's Day celebration.
Right, and I believe on our kickoff, that's we have some pictures that are pulled out, some of the old council, old mayors, pictures of the municipality. We've been working with the Historical Society. Kelly's got the committee working together and adding more and more people. We got a call from the superintendent of schools. The school district wants to get involved as well. So we're pretty excited about our 175th. So Kelly, thanks for kicking that off for us. Councilman Achara.
We had a Chamber of Commerce meeting this morning, and amongst other things, I would like to remind everybody that the 2024 Awards and Installation Luncheon is scheduled for March the 19th. That is where we provide the scholarships for the students as well as recognize a number of community service award winners. I will start mentioning them before the announcement goes out tomorrow. Kelly Weldon is being recognized for the first female superintendent in town in our 175-year history. We are also honoring Rising Treetops for community service, and there's a handful of others that are also being recognized. I mentioned one last week who's sitting 2 down from me, but there's 4 others that will be mentioned over the course of the next week, but we look forward to it. If you're interested in the ceremony, you can go on the gotcc.org website and register. That's all I have, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Dave.
Mayor, just 2 quick congratulations since I missed the meeting. Congratulate newly Deputy Mayor Fisher and Councilwoman Kaplan.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Matt.
Nothing tonight, Mr.
Nothing tonight. All right, I have a few things. First off, yes, Kelly said we do have on Friday, March 15th, our St. Patrick's Day annual dinner dance. We do a annual dinner dance to raise funds for the Community Celebration Fund. As you know, this year is our 175th, so we like to enhance some of our already excellent events and add a few new ones. This year, it will be in memory of Margie Edelson, who recently passed away, and the council will be taking formal action on that at the next meeting, naming that event. We will also be honoring former Deputy Mayor and present Assemblywoman Margie Donlin, Dr. Margie Donlin, at this event. Ads will be available. Information's on the website as well as social media. On Saturday, March 23rd, we will have our annual Easter egg hunt. And I want to read a thank you note that I received. Mayor Napolitani, a tree fell down and knocked out everyone's power on Well Pond Road. The police, fire department, town administration were amazing with the way that they handled the situation. They all deserve deepest gratitude, and we just want you to know. Thanks, Jim and Madley and the cats. So I want to thank you for pointing out a real positive thing that I keep stressing about our employees in this municipality. It's really fantastic to hear letters like that. Thank yous for people doing the right thing, and Dave, thank you again for your leadership. It's huge. One other thing that I'm looking for, and you'll see information out on the website, you'll see information on our Facebook pages. We need sponsors for our events each and every year. We budget very little to our community celebration events. However, with Mike Patrico and Jen Nordstrom at the helm, they seem to make lemonade out of lemons, and they have very limited funds, but we've been raising money with sponsors. So I want to start off by saying that one of our newest businesses in town, I literally just did the ribbon cutting the other day, chased down Jen and Mike, and Ramon Verona from Chick-fil-A ponied up $2,500 to the Community Celebration Fund. So Ramon and your wife, I really can't thank you enough for stepping up to the plate. And one of our local residents, who is also the manager of Shrewsbury Volkswagen, Gino DeLomo, I want to thank him for really going to bat for the town as he does each and every year. Gino, with what he's been able to do with Shrewsbury Volkswagen, and of course our residents repay him dearly because they do buy a lot of cars from him, and you can't beat the deal that Gino will put together for you. Gino went to bat for this town, and he got us our first platinum sponsorship for $10,000. So the check's here. Gino, I cannot thank you enough. And I'm hoping that this opens a little bit of the floodgates to our other business owners that hear the generosity of these guys. And we have sponsorships that go as high as $10,000 and they go as low as $500 for our business owners. So, I mean, we've really been able to make those sponsorships work. So I'm going to give this over to you. There's also ad money in there as well. So again, Gino and Ramon, thank you very much for the sponsorships. They are going to enhance these events this year. I'm truly thankful. So without further ado, I want to open it up for public questions on the resolutions and vouchers. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the Township Council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired on any item, that item will be considered separately. Let me see. The purpose of this public portion is to solely ask questions to understand resolutions that appear on the agenda, and it's not an occasion for a public hearing on an ordinance. All questions not related to an item on the agenda should be asked during the public comments portion at the conclusion of the meeting. I just want to let everybody know that we have three resolutions that will be being pulled tonight. We have Resolution 39, which is the collective bargaining agreement for the PBA, 40, which is the collective bargaining agreement for the Superior Officers Association, and 42, resolution to approve the naming of the 10th hole. Just want to let everybody know that those three are pulled. If you have any other questions in regard to the consent agenda, kindly step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing here none, do I have a motion to approve resolutions 32 through 42 under the consent agenda?
I will offer.
Second.
A second.
Roll call.
Achara?
So just to be,
With the,
With the exception of...
yeah, good,
Yep.
okay.
right,
With the exception of.
the 39.
39, 40, and 42.
Okay, yes, approved.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Napolitani?
Yes. Resolution consent agenda passes. Individual action vouchers in the amount of $13,461,390.44. Someone please offer.
I will offer.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Ordinance is up for adoption. Ordinance 2451, which is an ordinance amending Chapter 12 of Traffic of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean, 1965, prohibiting parking along portions of Johnson Street. Do I have someone open public comment on Ordinance 2451?
I'll make a motion to open public comment on ordinance 2451.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Anyone wishing to be heard on Ordinance 2451, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing here none, do I have a motion to close public comment on Ordinance 2451?
I make a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 2451.
Second.
I will second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Action on Ordinance 2451.
I move to approve ordinance 2451 and publish according to law.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Ordinance passes. Ordinance 2452, an ordinance of the Township of Ocean, County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, authorizing the private sale of non-conforming real property known as Block 16.01, Lot 8, to the contiguous property owner pursuant to NJSA 48:12-13B5. Can I have someone open public comment on Ordinance 2452?
I make a motion to open public comment on ordinance 2452.
Second.
I will second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Anyone wishing to be heard on Ordinance 2452, kindly step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing here none, do I have a motion to close public comment on Ordinance 2452?
I'll make a motion to close public comment on ordinance 2452.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Action on Ordinance 2452.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2452 and publish according to law.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Yes.
Achara?
Oops. Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Ordinance 2452 passes. Ordinance 2453, which is an ordinance amending Chapter 21, the Comprehensive Land Development Ordinance of the only comprehensive land ordinance establishing land use regulations for cannabis establishments, and Chapter 13 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean, 1965, entitled Taxation. Do I have someone please open public discussion on Ordinance 2453?
I'll open public discussion on ordinance 2453.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Anyone wishing to be heard on Ordinance 2453, kindly step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing here none, do I have a motion to close public comment on Ordinance 2453?
I'll make a motion to close public comment on ordinance 2453.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Action on Ordinance 2453.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2453 and publish according to law.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
No.
Kaplan? Oh, I'm sorry. Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Ordinance passes. Introductions of Ordinance 2454, which will have their public hearing on the 22nd of February 2024. It's an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 21 of the Comprehensive Land Development Ordinance, subsection 21-20.32, cottage food operators, home bakers, 21 to 22 through 21 through 32 development standards. Can I have someone introduce Ordinance 2454?
I'll introduce ordinance 2454.
Second.
I will second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. And that ordinance, again, will have its public hearing on the 22nd of February. Ordinance 2455, which is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 21 of the Comprehensive Land Development Ordinance, subsection 21-39A, CBO, Cannabis Business Overlay Zone. Can I have someone introduce Ordinance 2455?
I make a motion to introduce ordinance 2455.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Nope.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Napolitani?
Yes, and that ordinance will also have its public hearing on February 22nd, 2024. Anyone wishing to speak on anything germane to the Township of Ocean, any questions, comments, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing here none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion adjourned. Meeting adjourned.
We like seeing the two of you, but you do know this is live on YouTube now.
Okay.